Greetings everyone! My name is Leia and welcome to the Ctrlart modeling series. In previous videos, we've completely created the boy's body. In this video, we are going to model the face and the head. I'm working in program Autodesk My 2019, but you can also model in older versions. Remember, you can find and download all of the resources of this lesson in the link in the description. Let's continue our modeling. Before we start modeling the head, let me give you a short anatomy lesson. You can skip it to the timestamp if you want to just start modeling. No hard feelings. But I will try to explain why we will model face such way. The face has a lot of muscles, around 20 or so, according to Wikipedia. We use these muscles to form facial expressions for non-verbal communication, the expressions of various emotions, of sadness, happiness, anger, etc. can breathe a lot of life into your character when you animate them. But you can create them only if you model the human face correctly, because if you don't, the geometry won't bend and fold where it should. For example, cheeks might not puff up or create a nice laugh line, and you can easily slip into the uncanny valley territory. So our face has to have a good topology. But what is topology, some might ask? Well, topology is the organization of the components on the mesh or an object. Good topology is essentially positioning each component in such manner so it's used to its maximum efficiency. If the topology is good, your model will have less components, which means it will use less memory inside a program or an engine. You will be able to make changes and modifications to it much faster, especially if you'll make LODs. LOD stands for level of details. You will have less problems when animating the model, and the model will look neater and professional, especially if you want to sell it. When you create a 3D model of a face, you need to create a good topology. In order to create it, we want to model the face with quads only. Then we want to model certain muscle areas. The eyes and mouth circular muscles and the smile muscle are the most important muscles that we need to model on our boy. To summarize, the boy needs good facial proportions and topology for making facial expressions and movements in order to avoid the uncanny valley. We need to create circular muscles around the eyes and mouth and connect mouth to nose in such manner. Okay, so this is the end of the lesson, so let's continue. With the lesson out of the way, create a cylinder and go to the inputs. Change the number at subdivision axis to 12 and subdivision caps to 2. In edit mode, delete everything away except the top of the cylinder, and at the top, delete the triangles away. Center the pivot point, then rotate the circle for 90 degrees on x-axis. Move the circle to the height of the boy's eye and scale it so that the inner circle is around as big as his eye. Press 4 to go into wireframe display. Go to edit mode and move the inner vertices to the inside of the black line so we get the shape of an eye, like this. Move them only on x and y axis. If you can, keep the two vertices whose edge form a nice horizontal line to be the corners of the eyes. Try to move them so that they are evenly spaced. Move the outer vertices so we form the area of the eye socket. At the top, move vertices to the eyebrow, and at the bottom, move them to where the boy's eye bags would be. When you're done with the shape, switch to the side view and let's move the circle to the eye's position. Now, at the front it has an eye shape, but not at the side. Move the edge of the outer eye corner and adjust the others. I'll move the vertices a bit to fix the shape. Pull the outer vertices at the top to follow the eyebrow in the side view, and the ones at the bottom should follow the cheeks. When you're happy with the shape, add another cut to the eye with multicut. Enable multicut without the edge flow and make a cut above the black line on the reference. Double-click on the new edge loop, and to move it, hold Shift and left-click. Then select Transform Component. What transform component does is that it allows you to transform polygon components relative to the normals while creating a history node into the inputs. Pull the edge loop a bit forward. We want to form the thickness of the eyelid, or in other words, part of eyelids from where eyelashes grow. Insert another edge loop somewhere where his upper eyelid might start. Select the upper 4 edges and push them back and move corner vertices separately. I'll move the top part of the eye back with soft selection. Okay, now we have the base shape of the eye. Let's move it to the mouth. For mouth, create a new cylinder. We will use this one for the mouth. Under Inputs, change the number at subdivision axis to 12 and subdivision caps to 2. Then again, in Edit mode, delete everything except the top. Center the pivot, rotate the top for 90 degrees and move it to the height of the mouth so that the horizontal line fits the mouth's opening. Scale the top so that the inner circle is the size of the lip. In Edit mode, delete the left half of it. In the end, we will mirror the face onto the other side, hence why we don't need the left side. In the inner circle, select all edges except the horizontal one that fits the line of the mouth and delete them. We will quadify the lips. Select Multicut and make 2 vertical cuts. We have triangles on the corner of the mouth, but we will fix them with adding 2 cuts to the outer circle. Now we turn them to quads. Go to Wireframe Display and adjust the vertices to the mouth's shape. Move the vertices of the inner circle first. When you're done with the lips, move the vertices of the outer circle. We want to connect the lips with the nose, so move the first vertex to where the philtrum goes to the nose. Then move the next one to the nostril. With the other 2, form a laugh line. And then move the lower ones to continue the laugh line, and the lowest 2 should form the start of the chin. In medical terms, we are trying to create the orbicularis muscle, which is the circular muscle around the mouth. The mouth looks fine at the front, but let's check the side view. Move it to the front and shape the mouth. Start with the corner, then go towards the middle. Form the lips and make sure to move outer vertices to follow the laugh outline and the transition to the chin. Rotate around the mesh in perspective view so you see what's happening and how it looks. When you are done with the mouth, vertically connect the corners of the mouth with Multicut, like I've done. We want to insert a new edge loop. We want this edge loop to go around the lips. So hold Ctrl-Shift to activate Snap Step and insert the cut into lower then upper lip. Connect these cuts. Double-click on the newly created loop, hold Shift and left-click, select Transform Component and pull it out. We want to give lips the puffiness. Move vertices afterwards to make a nicer shape. Use average vertices in Edit Mesh and soft selection to make adjustments faster. Now we have a base shape of the mouth. Move it to the nose. Create another cylinder, go to Inputs and change the number at subdivision axis to 8. Again, delete everything away except the top. Center the pivot, rotate it for 90 degrees and move it to the nose. Scale it so it matches the size of the nose area. The nose is going to be more complicated to model, so I'll go really step by step. Delete the left half of it and move vertices to form the nose tip and nostrils. Now we have triangles, which we don't want, and we need more subdivisions there to form a nose. Delete these 2 edges away. Enable Multicut and make a vertical cut, like this. Move the new vertices to form a nose tip. Then, in the side view, grab the edge that forms the front of the nose tip and pull it forward. Move other vertices to shape the nose, nose tip and nostrils. After shaping, we need to add some more volume to it. Make a cut under the nose tip. Yeah, just one. Move the new edge a bit so we give volume to the tip and the lower one to form nostril area. Make another cut from the tip to the nostril. Move vertices at the bottom of the nose to the mouth vertices. Now, as you can see, we have two triangles, one at the bottom, the other at the top. We will turn them into quads by making another cut into the quad between them. Move the new cut out to make some volume. The nostril doesn't have a nice shape at the top. Add another cut and move vertices a bit. Add a vertex to the triangle and form a nostril with it. When you are finished with the top of the nostril, let's turn to its bottom. I've isolated the nose so it will be easier to see. Select the face where the nostril has the hole and extrude it. Scale it in and then extrude it again and push it up to form the hole. Now we have a general shape of the nose. We want to connect the nose to the mouth. We will create a new cut into the mouth, delete the faces that are behind the nose, and then combine and connect these two meshes. Select Multicut and insert a cut into the mouth right underneath the nose. You can adjust vertices now or later on, as we will add another cut into the mouth in a few seconds. Turn our view behind the nose and delete these two faces away. We will connect the nose to the mouth in this area, so we need a hole there. In Object Mode, select Nose and Mouth while holding Shift, go to Mesh and select Combine. With Target Weld, drag mouth vertices to the nose. With Smooth Mesh Preview, we can check whether if vertices are properly merged. If they weren't, we would see two edges very closely together or sharp lines. Everything looks smooth, which is good. Add the previously mentioned edge loop to the mouth, so we can define the mouth's shape a bit more. Use Multicut again and insert a new loop. Select the top three edges and move them using Soft Selection and Transform Component. Do the same with the bottom part of the lips. After you're done, you can soften the edges. Let's extrude the two edges at the top of the nose to create a nose bridge. Extrude them and pull them up to the height where eye corner is. Adjust vertices in the front view and side view. Now that we've combined and connected the nose and mouth, select the edge loop on the latter and extrude it out. Pull it out to around the middle of the chin. What happened on my end is that the vertices at the middle of the grid aren't straight vertically. In order to straighten them, select all vertices that are at the middle and scale them on X-axis. Then hold X to snap them to the grid. Move the new bottom vertices to the tip of the chin and adjust them in the side view as well. With this new edge loop, we want to form transition from the frontal part of the face towards the cheek and under his chin. When you're satisfied, select three bottom edges and extrude them. We will form the curvature of the chin with these three. Extrude them and pull them back. I'll slide these vertices so they are more evenly spread vertically and because we need to make chin rounder. Let's pull the chin vertices further back, like this. When you're done with the chin, use the most outer extruded edge to form his jaw. Select it and extrude it back. Move it to the start of his jaw and rotate the edge a bit. Add a cut into his jaw we've just created. Straighten the edge with a scale and pull it down. On second thought, let's also straighten the edge at the jaw. Add two more cuts right in the middle of both halves and form the jaw with them. Switch to front view and see how this looks. Oof, let's soften his chin. Well, his jaw looks okay at the side, but certainly not at the front. Form the jaw so it also follows reference at the front. First, rotate and move edges, then move or slide vertices if needed, like I did. Try to keep the edges as vertical as you possibly can. When you're finished with shaping the jaw, select the last edge and extrude it upwards to his ear. Straighten the edge with scale. Add two cuts into the face. With them, we will create the volume of his cheeks. Select these three edges and extrude them forward. We will now build his cheeks this way. Target Weld to merge the bottom vertex to the jaw and slide vertices to spread them out evenly. I want some more puffiness in his cheeks. Before we make more extrusions to form his face, select the eye and the mouth in object mode and go to Mesh to combine them into one single object. We will create a mirror on the left side so we can see how his face will look like in the end. Combine them into one object, snap the pivot point to the grid, freeze transformation and delete history. Go to Mesh and open options of the mirror. Reset settings first and change mirror orientation to minus, then press apply. Go to Polymirror options and set merge threshold to about 0.01. After mirror, enable symmetry. Before we continue with side, connect eyes with the mouth. Select the lower edge loop, minus the edge that is connected to the inner eye corner of the eyes and extrude it down and forward. With these edges, we will form the front volume of the cheek and connect it to the mouth. Move the outer vertices to the jaw and let's move mouth edges forward to the mouth. We want the boy to have nice, plumpy cheeks. I'll adjust some vertices a bit, then use target weld and drag the mouth's edge to the eyes. We made a connection there. Fill a hole between the eye and nostril with a bridge. To fill the hole between the nose and eye, we need to add more cuts into the nose. Bridge the nose and eye at a new cut. Add another cut with multicut and bridge the rest of it. Move the edges and vertices to create a nicer nose curve. I'll leave the nose for now as it is and fill the rest of his face. Select the bottom edge of his mouth and lowest of his cheek and bridge them. Add cuts with multicut with edge flow enabled and target weld the vertices. Use bridge to fill the rest of the hole and slide vertices to spread the vertices evenly and form the shape of his cheeks. Soften edges on the mesh so we will see how it actually looks. It looks okay, but we can certainly add more divisions to it later, especially in the cheeks. Let's add 2 cuts, one above, other below, like this. His cheeks look much better. Model the rest of his face to his forehead. First, move the top vertices so they're in similar height to the eye corner. I'll make minor changes, Select the entire side of his face and extrude it up to the height to the next eye vertex. Weld the eye together with the cheekbone. Then lift the vertices which are now under the eyebrow over the eyebrow. We will need 2 inner edges to form the nose, so position them in such a way that we will be able to connect nose to the eye sockets. Now let's connect nose with eyes. Turn off symmetry, select the edges at the top of the nose and extrude it up to the first free vertex. Straighten the edges with a scale and in the front view, press 4 to enable wireframe display. We can see we need to widen it a bit, so let's do that. We have to flatten the nose a bit because the nose has a roundness to the nose bridge, but above it, it becomes much flatter. If we make another extrusion, it becomes much more noticeable. To flatten these 2 edges, change the pivot point to the most right vertex of the edge loop. Press D to select pivot point and hold V to snap it to this vertex. Yours might be different than mine, but pick the one that is moved back the most. Press D or W to deselect the pivot point. Then scale the loop on Z axis to his forehead. Do the same on the lower edge loop. After this, use target weld to connect the eyes to the bridge and adjust vertices if needed. When you're done making fixes to the face, enable symmetry back on and select the entire top edge loop and extrude it up. Let's straighten it and shape it. Make 2 more extrusions and shape them. Because of the nose, we have this weird lump on his forehead. It's still noticeable even if we soften the edges. We need to flatten it. To do so, enable symmetry and move the top vertices by hand. Select other vertices that form this lump. Go to Edit Mesh and select Average Vertices. Now it's much better. Repeat average vertices a few more times. Take some time to make it smooth. When done, position it so it matches reference again. I will make some adjustments to the head with soft selection. Let's move the loose edges at the eye a bit back. Scale them in, then move them backwards. We don't want people to accidentally see inside his head if the boy were, for example, open his eyes very wide. And this is it. We've made a face. Add some placeholder eyes. Create a sphere, rotate it for 90 degrees and place it into his eye socket. This helps you to see how his eye socket is modeled and if it needs any fixes and such. I'll make an eye so it will be more pleasing to look at the model for the time being, with details and all, before they're replaced with actual eyes. If you will make eyes, don't forget to duplicate or mirror it to the right side as well. I'll fast forward through this part. As for a final touch, try to clean up the topology a little bit. By that I mean that we try to space out vertices evenly. You can see that at the forehead we have almost too many of them in comparison to other parts of the face. Merge together some of these vertices. Select two vertices, go to Edit Mesh and select Merge to Center. Let's do this towards his nose until we get to the eye corner. You will get two triangles which we will fix. Let's do the same merging on his forehead. After merging, slide vertices slightly apart. Add a new edge loop into the nose to turn those triangles to quads. Make a cut, then slide the end vertice a bit up to the nose tip. Evenly space out the vertices on the nose bridge by sliding them. Add some more edge loops into the eye as we want for the boy to blink. Because if we had only one face on the lids, the eyelids would not be able to cover the eye at all. Enable multicut with the edge flow enabled and hold Ctrl Shift to snap it right into the middle. Then make two more cuts on each side. I'll pull the new edge loops with soft selection and transform constraint a bit forward to make eyelids rounder. Add another edge loop to the eye socket, select it and pull it forward. After the changes to eyelids, check if they are too far away or too close to the eye. If they are, move them. Well, this is it for the part 1. I hope to see you soon in part 2.